So again, I'm NatashaMartin. I'm actually an infectious disease and epidemic modeler. So my expertise is on using dynamic models to forecast and predict epidemic trajectories over time and how those trajectories might change with different scale-up of interventions or treatment allocations or different programs among sort of general population settings or key populations. Some of the work that I do is also cost effectiveness and health economic evaluation. So these are elements of the core that will be covered within the modeling. So just to give a basic overview, the biostatistics and modeling core, the biostatistics part of that is led by Professor Sonia Jain, and she has actually been working under the CFAR for many years, and the biostats used to be offered under the clinical investigation core. So the biostats, which was previously offered under clinical investigation, is now going to be offered under biostatistics and modeling, and those services are generally speaking the same. I would say that the strongest value service that they provide is really the study design and input. Contact them early because they can help you design your clinical trial, your observational study, your survey design, whatever kind of study you're doing. If you need statistical input at the end, it's good to contact them in the beginning so they can provide input on the design and evaluation of that. She also works on genomic studies. And they specialize in many types of statistical analyses. So genomics, as I mentioned, geospatial analyses, Bayesian methods. I know Dr. Jain has a specific focus and interest in Bayesian methods. And so really, whenever you're designing your study, it's good to, across all of the different cores, come and talk to us, and we can provide the statistical input. As far as the modeling part, the modeling core is sort of the new part of the biostatistics modeling core, and I'll be leading that. And as I mentioned, the focus is really to foster new collaborations to get you thinking about how you might use or need epidemic modeling within your trials. Some examples are if you are looking at evaluating a particular technology such as testing or treatment or a program to prevent HIV infections, what we can do is we can take the evidence that you generate from your trial and your study and project what impact implementing that intervention could have on the epidemic in a specific setting. So if we scale up testing or treatment, what impact could that have on reducing the number of new HIV infections over the next 20 years? And what could it cost? And is it cost effective? So the cost effectiveness is sort of another aspect that we're very interested in, which can cut across mostly any trial. Is the trial effective and is it cost effective? And that sort of analysis can say, is it good value for money for the funder? And is it affordable for the government that might implement these strategies? So if you're looking at a testing or a case finding strategy for HIV, how much is it going to cost? What impact could it have on the epidemic? And is that intervention cost effective? So a lot of the modeling and the cost effectiveness really translates the intervention effect that you might be studying in your trial to really policy recommendations. What is the policy level impact that this could have and government level impact. So really briefly, as far as the services that we can provide, as I mentioned, input at 3 different times within your study. We can provide pre-award grant proposal support. That pre-award support can involve study planning, study design, input onto how and whether you could use HIV epidemic modeling within your study, or whether you could use health economic evaluation and cost effectiveness evaluation methodologies. Of course, we provide input on sample size and power calculations and the development of analysis plans for your protocol. So that's all pre-award. Now, on funded proposals, we ask that you actually, if you're going to use the biostats or modeling core in your grant, we ask that you write us into your proposal, and if your grant is funded, then on funded proposals, we provide input on study implementation and management, such as data management, tracking and monitoring reports, DSMB reporting, interim analyses for futility and efficacy, final statistical analyses, and then obviously if there's a modeling or a cost effectiveness component, then we provide the input on that. After you collect your data and implement your study, we also collaborate on research communication, so that's interpretation of results and drafting of abstracts, posters, and articles as co-authors. So I would just emphasize that it's really important if you can come to us early so we can be involved in the study design, not just at the last minute for your power calculations. And there's a lot of really exciting and interesting collaborations that we could have with the modeling and the cost effectiveness, I think, across many of the studies here at CFAR. Are there any questions? Okay. If not, then I'll introduce Dr. Maile Karris, who will go over the current services provided by the Clinical Investigation Core.
Thank you, Natasha. So I'm Maile Karris, and I'm a physician researcher. I'm in the Division of Infectious Disease, and I work at the Owen Clinic, which is our HIV medicine clinic here at UCSD. And the Clinical and Biostatistical Core do a lot of things similarly. We often work hand in hand to help you get your research done. I think the Clinical Core, as physician researchers, so along with Chuck Hicks, who you'll meet later, as well as Chris Matthews, who founded the Owen Clinic, we have a special opportunity to really see firsthand how your excellent research impacts the lives of our patients. And that is kind of what motivates us to help you continue to do great patient-oriented clinical research. So the mission of the Clinical Core is basically to support and encourage clinically relevant HIV research. And we do that similarly to the Biostatistical Core all along the process of research. So we do a lot of pre-award help. If you've got a really great idea, but you're not sure quite how to put it together in a grant, come talk to us. We love just chatting about study design and other things. I think one of the more important services that we offer are helping you generate preliminary data for a grant. We have both a prospective and retrospective patient sample collection process. So if you are looking for specific types of patients to check out your protein or your enzyme or your T cell, and you want to do some ex vivo type work, come talk to us, and we can help you find the blood or the semen or the gut samples, et cetera, to kind of further that research. We also have a very extensive multi-year, multi-center database of our patients. We're part of the CFAR network of integrated clinical systems, which is a US nationwide big electronic medical record database. And we can help you also get some data that way, or even do some research projects using the CNIX database. When you do get your award, we can help with implementation by participant recruitment. We have a lot of ties to the community, and if we can't recruit your participants in our clinic, we have lots of other places that we can help you find the people that you need to participate in your study. We also help with IRB generation of documents so that it's smooth for you, especially for new investigators who've never done that before. It's kind of a tedious process. And we help with data safety and monitoring as well. And once you've got your awesome data and you're ready to write papers and present your data, we can also help with that. If you sit at a bench most of the day and you're just looking at proteins and doing things like that, and you're kind of struggling with putting a whole picture together, we can sit down with you and say, hey, this is cool. What do you think about its application in this clinical aspect of HIV? So we love talking to people about that sort of stuff too. But that's what we do at the Clinical Core in a nutshell. We want to be really responsive to the needs of the community of San Diego HIV researchers. So if you don't see a service that we're offered that you are interested in, just send us an email, talk to us, and see if we can help you, even though it may not specifically be on our website.